All right, welcome in. It's Wednesday, Hump Day, time for total bases. It also means we've got day games all day, which is great. Spread the games out. Different look from the first couple days of the week. I didn't have a single Major League Baseball play yesterday, but I have a feeling I'm going to have a couple today, which we'll talk about on the show. So I'll welcome in my co-hosts, Bryan, Leonard, Tokyo, Brandon, and let's get right into it. One of the games that we did talk about yesterday, I feel like we got right, was the Yankees. Struggled again, found a way to lose. Nate Eovaldi was great. That being said, Bryan, Leonard, this feels like a much better spot for the Yankees. Is this where they finally get back in the win column?
It sure looks like it when they've got Rendon on the mound. Let's see what we've got for the line on this one. The lefty, Rodon, is the lefty, and Jack Leiter, the rookie, going for Texas. Right now, the Yankees are about maybe a 132 favorite, and with a total of 8 to the over, 8.5 to the under. My initial look at this is about it's priced right a little bit. You got to start worrying about Leiter's pitches. They may pull him a little bit early here, but Rodon's a veteran. He's been around. He's going to pitch as long as he can. I mean, overall, he's been pretty good this season. 3.34 ERA, very good. 3.24 shows that it's accurate, and a 1.06 WHIP. His StatCast page shows him a little bit unfavorably, if you ask me. He's got some solid reds out there, which is very good. Expected batting average 91st percentile, whiff rate 91st, strikeouts 86th, but his walk rate, his barrel rate, his hard hit rate, his ground ball rate, and his extension are all below 50%. It's just some of his numbers are good, some are bad. I think he's a pretty good pitcher, and he's got a 3.80 career ERA, so that shows that he's very good. He's still a four-seamer, throws a four-seamer 41% of the time, slider 30%. But I like him. He's usually a guy that I count on if the Yankees are not playing well or if they run a few losses here. I like him in that regard. Jack Leiter, 4.10 ERA, 4.69 expected, 1.32 WHIP, a little high. Great extension, despite only being 6'1", 88th percentile, fastball velocity in the 88th percentile, but some of his hard hit numbers bother me. His walk rate's the 10th percentile, average exit velocity 15th, barrel rate 14th. He can be hit, but as I've said throughout this entire series, this is basically one of the better pitching parks in the league this year, and it also helps that Texas's starting staff is excellent. So I don't see enough to make a bet on this one. So I like the Yankees, but I don't want to lay that number.
Yeah, is Boone brain dead? Why does he keep putting Williams out there? He's got a 6+ ERA as a closer. That's ridiculous. I mean, does he just think eventually he'll come around? I mean, we're almost halfway through August, and he's still trotting out a 6+ ERA guy as his closer. This is the second worst manager in MLB, and very little talent on this team aside from Judge and Fried. So, man, Yankees are in trouble, but I don't think they'll get swept. I think they have a shot of winning the game today, at least. Rodon's pretty good pitcher. I got him in the top 1/3 of all MLB pitchers, and I've got Leiter ranked 20 out of 30 on a curve of 30. He walks. He's got a little bit of a walking problem. He had a really bad walking problem at the beginning of the season. He's corrected that a little bit. Not a terrible pitcher, not a great pitcher. I have the bullpens pretty equal as far as current form is concerned, and I have the hitting pretty equal. So too close for me, but I just have a feeling the Yankees are going to win one game eventually. And, when they have a really good starting pitcher advantage, it's probably going to be today.
Tokyo, Brandon, I'm curious. You said Boone is the second worst manager. Who is the worst manager in the league?
Oh, Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts is the Angel Hernandez of managers.
I don't know if I can agree with that, because Dave Roberts just won a World Series and he's got the best team. But I do agree with you. they do win sometimes in spite of him. I'll make the point
Exactly.
again. I only ask you because I think Aaron Boone is the worst manager in the league, and that's why I wanted to see. I wanted to see who you thought was worse than that. Because the Yankees won in spite of Boone last year, and it's something I brought up yesterday, and I'll continue to hammer this point home. The Yankees were a better team last year. They had a better team, and they were able to sort of overcome some of the mistakes. Now this team's not as good, and they're just not as good as they were last year. I don't care what anyone says. You take Juan Soto off the team, that team last year that went to the World Series is better than this Yankees team, and now suddenly the mistakes start to matter. They're starting to turn wins into losses, and it's like they can't seem to get out of their own way. Now, I do think they get a little bit of a reprieve here, having Rodon on the mound, opposing Jack Leiter, because Jack Leiter's a guy that, I've talked about him a few times. He hasn't really put it together at the big league level just yet. I think some of that has to do with how the Rangers have sort of managed him to this point. They kind of threw him to the fire too early, killed his confidence, and now he's kind of had to start to work his way back in at the big league level. So no doubt Rodon gives them an edge in the first, few innings of this game. At the end, the Yankees, their bullpen should be much better than this. Help me out, Brian Leonard. They remade this bullpen at the trade deadline. It should be great. So they should have a bullpen edge, but they just simply haven't. I'm kind of with you, TB. My gut tells me this is where the Yankees get it done, but I don't know if I want to come to the dark side. I've been playing against them on a daily basis, at least either for a client play or on the show. But my gut tells me the Yankees are the side today. I just don't know if I can do it. Now, you brought up Devin Williams. He's been bad, but what are you supposed to do if you're Boone? They paid him. They have to put him out there. It's just crazy to watch.
Is he in the last year of his contract? Is he a free agent?
That I'm not sure.
I don't think you have to play a guy just because you're paying him money.
Yeah,
I think you try to win the game no matter who's making what.
Yeah, if he is going to be on the team next year, he can't do this. But if he's going to be a free agent, and at this point, there's no way he's going to sign with the Yankees again because you just can't handle it there. You send him to the minors.
Yeah. Or you just use him in mop up. Use him in the sixth inning. You use him when you're down by 4.
They picked up a bunch of Pirates, Rockies, and
they sent Bird to the minors.
Bird is horrible. Bird's been horrible. I don't know.
Listen, I don't know what this comment is. It says Adam loves being a contrarian. I really don't. I don't know why. I've never once come on here and I'm like, well, everyone likes this, so I'm going to go the other way. I'm just saying, everything to me is relative to market value. Okay. And 2 nights ago, the Yankees, Brian, on Wednesday? So Monday night, the Yankees were a pretty big favorite without Aaron Judge, and it was Corbin against, why can't I remember the Yankees star? Oh, Fried, right? Yeah. So it's now you have now a clear edge at starting pitcher with Rodon. That's not up for debate. Rodon over Leiter is not even remotely close in terms of caliber of starting pitcher. Theoretically, the bullpen should be very good. It just hasn't been. So I think the market has swung too far on the Yankees that they're going to give you Rodon at $1.30 here. It's just so much different than what the market was. Because remember how many cents is Judge is always going to be 10 to 15 to 20 cents to the number. And he was out on Monday. So it has nothing to do with being a contrarian. And I don't consider myself a contrarian bettor when it comes to baseball. I'm just saying where the Yankees were priced 4 days ago to where they are now, it is a considerable change. And I think you have to at least consider backing them with the edge that you get out of Rodon against Leiter. So I want to comment on that because it has nothing to do with being a contrarian. I still think the Yankees are not a very good baseball team, and I very much hope they miss the playoffs for all of our sake, because I think we've all betted in some capacity. But this is a pretty good spot for them, all things considered. Okay, fired up on a Wednesday. Let's keep it going. What else do we got? Here's one. Duffel says Braves manager is awful. Yeah, this was an interesting one to me because the Braves are favored today. Brian Leonard, I kind of think they should be based on this matchup, but man, this is another one. Do you want the Braves laying some money against the red hot Brewers at this point?
You thought the same thing as I did. And I am sort of a contrarian handicapper. I'm an underdog handicapper. And I think you're a value handicapper. So when I'm looking at the card, I look for spots for underdogs just because I know that I've had a lot of success over the years playing the dogs. Well, I looked at this and I said, why is Atlanta favored here? Atlanta's a team that's got nothing to play for. Milwaukee's sitting there battling it out with Chicago. And it's not like Milwaukee's not playing well. They're playing great. I know they got Quintana on the mound, but Quintana's a veteran. I think he can have some success. Strider going for Atlanta. Strider's hasn't been back to where he was a couple years ago. His fastball's down. It's going to take him a while, and he's not there yet. And yet Atlanta is about a 130 favorite right now with a total of 8. That's the first thing that popped out at me. And normally when that happens, that's a good thing. Quintana, as I mentioned, comes in with a 3.50 ERA. Last year 3.75. The year before 3.57. He knows how to pitch. His StatCast page is all blue, no doubt about it. But he's a guy who finds a way to win, and you're always going to find guys like this every year that just outperform their peripherals. You look at his ERA against his expected. This year 1.3 lower. Last year 0.75 lower. The year before 1 lower. The year before 0.9 lower. He's a guy that knows how to pitch. So he's going to outperform his peripherals, which means that he's a guy we want to bet on. Those are the type of guys you make money on. Spencer Strider, 3.71 ERA, 3.90 expected, 1.22 whip. His average exit velocity, folks, in the 4th percentile. He's at 95.5 on his four-seamer. League average is 94.9. He's been 98 in the past. He's really dropped off. He's only basically a 2-pitch pitcher. He throws his slider to 36%, four-seam 54%. I like Milwaukee here. I think it's a terrific number, and I don't expect it to be there when the game goes off.
Guys, go to our pages and check out what we got. We usually put up free plays almost every day. It takes you 10 seconds to go check our pages. See that little scroller down there? You can see the addresses to go to our pages, or you just go to wagertalk.com, click experts, and you'll find our pages right there. I have my MLB play out already today. I'm sure these guys will put something out as well. On to this game. I've been riding the Brewers and I've been making a lot of money on them, but I'm not going to bet them today. Not because I think they're going to lose or I think Atlanta's better, but Quintana, I agree with Bryan that he's a veteran and he knows how to stand in there and keep his team in the game. But I don't like his stats against the Braves in his career. He's been tagged for a 327 average against and a 983 OPS against. And that's a pretty good sample size as well. That kind of scares me off the Brewers today. Strider hasn't been great. Let's see, where do I have him ranked? I got Strider ranked 14. I got Quintana ranked 18 on a curve of 30. So neither bullpen is playing well either. So instead of taking a side, I think either the Brewers team total over or the game over might be a better bet than a side, because I just got a feeling that I shouldn't bet the Brewers today. That's all. Not a strong feeling, just a feeling.
Trevor says the Milwaukee B squad can smoke Atlanta with their injuries. So I'm glad we did these 2 games back to back, because it's a very similar handicap for me in both. Essentially, very, very similar handicap. You have the Braves, who I like their starting pitcher far more. And I agree with a lot of what TB said about Quintana, about the sample size. A lot of these Braves guys have large samples against him, and they've had some success. But I also think that the ceiling for Strider is much higher. If he comes out and throws the game he's capable of, he should put Atlanta in position to win. The other thing I'll point out with the Braves, for as poor as they've been in a lot of ways this year, they've got decent bullpen depth, and the pen hasn't been that bad for them. So it's not a scenario where I think they're going to get to the end of the game and necessarily lose. They've choked games away in the leverage spot, so that's certainly a concern. But I wouldn't. It's not something that would totally keep me off the Braves here. Similar to the Yankees, what's keeping me off at this point is the feeling that I shouldn't have to lay minus 130 or minus 135. So going back to what Bryan says, I'm kind of hoping he's right. I'm kind of hoping the Brewers take money throughout the day, that people, even maybe the sharp crowd sees that plus money with the Brewers and says, how can you pass the Brewers up at this price? Because if this comes, 10, 15 cents in the other direction, it's going to make me like the Braves even more. But again, very similar handicap to both games. You've got a considerable edge, in my opinion, at the front of the game with the starting pitcher, with both Rodon for the Yankees and Strider for the Braves. And if both of those move maybe 10 to 15 cents, they're going to be they're plays that I consider on my card today. Right now, it's making it easy to sort of pass on them because I'm not getting the price that I want exactly. But again, I think you have an edge here with Strider and TB. I'm kind of with you on the fact that I do think they could get to Quintana today. So a couple interesting games to start it off, and it'll be interesting to see how those lines move over the next couple hours, because I do think you're going to see some line movement in those games. Rob McMahon's in the chat. He says smash the like button. Absolutely. We need the likes. We need the subscribes. We're in the dog days of August. We're trudging through it. This is how it goes for Major League Baseball. You see some of the effort on some of these teams is not quite what it was a couple months ago. But we're here every day, and we need the likes. We need the subscribes. We really appreciate it. It's helping us grow this show. We want to be able to come back and do this show 5 days a week next year too. So we're very appreciative of all the interaction and all the likes and subscribes on a daily basis. All right, let's grab another one here from the chat. So Mark Henson says, I think Ohtani's still gambling on his unders, which is a funny comment. All right, here we go.
Here's to go 4 or less innings, right?
Here's a good one, because someone, Nate the Great, DM'd me about this game, and I didn't really give him the response that he probably deserved via DM, and now I see Nance bringing it up, so let's talk about it here. How many innings will Arrighetti go today? He's a strikeout machine, but he is coming back off the IL. They did push him back a day. Not sure that matters. He was supposed to pitch yesterday. He got pushed back to today. The Astros have shown some life. And Bryan Leonard, the Marlins are doing what I kind of thought they might do once they finally lost the game, where it's just a young team, ebbs and flows. When they're hot, they're going to be hot. When they're losing, they're going to struggle. How are you seeing Astros Marlins today?
Yeah, you called that a few days ago. Good call on that. Astros Marlins, we're looking at Arrighetti, as you mentioned. He looks to be it's basically a pick 'em now. Maybe 108, 110 favorite for Houston. Arrighetti at Jason Junk in Miami. Total on that is 8 to the over, 8.5 to the under. So right in the middle there. 8.25 if you were Steve Fezzik. That's a little joke between Trig and I. Spencer Arrighetti on the season, he's only gotten in those 2 games, started 9 innings. Last year, 145 innings, 171 strikeouts, very, very good. But his whip was really high, 1.41 in his short career, 4.60 ERA, 1.38 whip. Great extension, 6'2", still continues to have great extension, 97th percentile. He's very good with whiffing, getting their team to swing and miss, and his expected batting average has always been very good. But he has been hit in the past, as you can tell by his ERAs, 4.53 last year, 5.59, and a very small sample size this year. Jason Junk was the guy who came out and he pitched very well early on. He's backed up a little bit, and you could tell that his 3.86 ERA. 3.82 expected. So he's about where he should be. 1.10 whip's still pretty good, though. Only walks 2.3% of the batters faced, which is excellent. So you have to take a look when that happens. Say, well, he's in the zone a lot. How does he do in the zone? Well, he gets people to chase outside of the zone a little bit, but that's a good thing. But his whiff percentage is in the 8th percentile, hard hit rate 5th. average exit velocity in the first percentile. When he gets hit hard. His four-seamer at 93.8 miles per hour. He uses 38% of the time, which is too much probably. He's only got 4 other pitchers. None of them uses as much as the four-seamer. So I could see him getting hit here. Arrighetti, I could see getting hit. So I would look at the over if I was looking at this one. And like I said, it's right now between 8 and 8.5, your choice. And I think the Miami Bats is going to wake up a little bit here. I like the over in this game.
Guys, if you're curious what a Japanese Buddhist temple looks like, go to my Twitter and check it out. I went there today and I put a bunch of shots up there. Really beautiful. And today in Tokyo, it was 101 degrees and 81% humidity. Talk about dying. I almost dropped dead on the street today. It was so bad. But anyways, regarding this game, I don't have enough innings on Arrighetti in the last 30 days for him to register in my stats. But I took a look at how he's been doing. Such a weird dichotomy in his stats. I mean, he's given up 13 earned runs in his last 3 starts, and yet his whip is still 1.1. How is he doing this? It's amazing. Maybe you guys can clue me in, but to me, that guy, that's just, I can't explain it. So I'm going to stay away from that. To me, that's an X factor. He's a good pitcher. I've watched him and he passes the eye test for sure. Both of these teams are hitting right about in the mediocre range in current form. One's 15, one's 16. I have Miami's bullpen ranked just a little bit higher on current form. And I got Miami. I got Jung rated 12 out of 30 pitchers on a curve of 30, but he's given up 13 earned runs in his last 3 starts. So how is he, how do the numbers like him so much when he's been tagged his last 3 starts? So I'm I'm going to stay away from it, but I wouldn't argue with Bryan's over though. Not at all.
So what I've noticed, like Jansen Jung, even the last couple starts where he's been knocked around, is fantastic the first time through the order. And it goes back to what I was talking about with the Marlins, sort of like that they're sort of building this stable of pitchers, and you can go down to Jacksonville and find more of them where they're like, you know, they're all good long relievers. And honestly, that's what I thought Junk was going to be when they grabbed him from Milwaukee. This was not a guy that had any real success in the big league level prior to this year. He actually had a pretty poor season, even down in Nashville last year. So to see him pitch the way he did was surprising. That being said, I still think that he is that very solid 3 to 4 inning guy. Look at when he's gotten hit. The Royals game, he finally got hit in the 4th inning. First time through was fantastic. Last time out against the Yankees, he was quite unlucky. I won that game. I was on the Marlins. It was the crazy 13-12 comeback win. And in that game, they really shouldn't have let him pitch to, I think it was either Stanton, someone took him deep, and it was like the writing was on the wall that was about to happen. I felt like they should have went to the bullpen in that spot. But again, even in that game against the Yankees on Friday, lights out first time through the order, no problem. So I think for Junk, it's really just, I think that's something the Marlins have to sort of make the adjustment and say, hey, second time through, we got to get this guy out of there. We can't leave him in to give up the 3-run homer or the 4-run inning. Other than that, he's been very good. Now, if the Marlins if this was any other spot in the schedule where it didn't just go Marlins winning a bunch of games followed by back-to-back losses, I'd probably roll the dice and take a shot with Jansen Junk here, because I did not think Arrighetti was ready to come up and start yet. Didn't think he looked, so he pitched against Tacoma last week, didn't look good. And it was only his first rehab outing at AAA. So, this is a guy that missed considerable time this year, was hurt back in early April. And he had 2 sort of shorter rehab outings at AA. And then last week pitched against a decent Tacoma lineup and just got knocked around for like the length was there. He went 4 2/3. Like it was a pretty normal start, but he got kind of roughed up. So I thought they were going to probably give him one more. It looks like out of necessity, maybe, because they traded away Gusto and a couple of other guys that maybe they just want to get him back in the rotation. But that was concerning to me. So maybe I'm with Bryan. Did you say you like the over in this game?
Yes.
Yeah, it makes sense because if the Marlins are going to try to force length out of Junk, he's probably going to get hit second or third time through the order. And I just don't trust Arrighetti right now. He was too all over the place in that start against Tacoma. And typically the longer rehab stints are like 2, sometimes 3 starts at AAA. So the fact that he's only made 1 at AAA and now he's coming up to face a Marlins team that we know can get hot at the plate, concerning on both ends. So I think I'm with Bryan. I think I see some runs in this one. All right, let's go to Station Play. Says number 1 morning show. Is that of all morning shows? If so, we'll take that all day. We very much appreciate that. And yeah, that's great. You know, we appreciate it.
It's all about the personalities.
And hey, we have them for sure. Okay, the chat is talking about the Cubbies. Mr. Finn said Cubs literally sold my parlay the last 2 days. Can't do it 3 days in a row. Wolf says Cubs way better offense than Reds. 5 better than the Reds ever have. Guys, we talked about this game yesterday, and I sort of threw the question out. Do you guys have any concerns about this Cubs team? I still haven't figured out who it was in the chat. If you're in the chat, someone asked if I'm slamming a twisted tea. No, this is a Minute Maid zero sugar lemonade. I haven't had a twisted tea in like 15 years. I actually didn't know that still existed. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. Oh, Cubs, Reds. We talked about it yesterday. I said I would want no part of the Cubs at that price point. And I felt like I really want to remember who in the chat pointed out this potential Cubs swoon that has now fully come to life. Another day yesterday, Bryan Leonard, the Cubs lose 5-1. Are you getting more concerned? And are you getting involved today? It's Cade Horton and Andrew Abbott. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, Abbott, the lefty, going for Cincinnati. Horton, the rookie, with the Cubs. We're looking at about a 129 favorite for the Cubs, total of 7.5, slightly to the under, or it's right there. Yeah, Andrew Abbott, he's the guy that's perplexed us all season long. I talked about the Brewers pitcher having more success than his expected numbers. Andrew Abbott's been that way his entire career. 2.15 ERA this year, 3.32 expected, 1.11 whip. Ground ball rate, 8th percentile, but yet he pitches in Cincinnati. He doesn't give up home runs. Who the hell knows, what's going on? Fastball velocity only 26 or 22nd percentile. Yet in his career, he slightly under 1 strikeout an inning. His strikeout minus walk rate this year is 14.2, which would not show that he deserves these numbers. He's 8-1 of the season if you like to look at win losses. Cade Horton, 3.42 ERA, 4.65 expected. I've watched him pitch. He's got some negative regression coming up. 1.24 whip. You look at his StatCast page, a little more blue than red. He's about an average major league pitcher at this point. So you're paying for him with a 3.42 ERA when really it should be about a full run higher than that. So I don't want Cade Horton here. Abbott's a guy who perplexed me all year, so I am going to sit this one out.
So a lot of people are saying Cubs are much better than the Reds. Not so fast, my friend, as Lee Corso would say. Reds are pretty good, and Abbott's pretty good too. Who would have thought coming on August 6th that Abbott would be 8 wins and 1 loss? I don't think anyone could have predicted that at the beginning of the season. But he's been performing well, and he performs well against these batters throughout his career. What do I have him at? I got him a 224 average against with a 689 OPS. Not bad numbers against this team, and it's a good sample size too. Currently, I have both of all the matchups that I ran the numbers on today. This is the closest one of the day. These teams are 1 point apart. So Cubs have a slight advantage in bullpen in current form. Starting pitchers, dead equal. And Reds, I have them 1 point better in batting right now. So, I mean, dead even. If anything, I think I trust Abbott a little more than Horton, but my numbers really like Horton, even though I haven't really checked. I haven't really watched him closely, so I don't have a good read on him. My numbers love him. So 2 really good pitchers here, and 2 mediocre bullpens and 2 hitters that aren't two lineups that aren't producing well. Might think about an under, might think about the Reds. Haven't done anything on it yet.
The body language has been so bad the last couple of days for the Cubs. It's just been like they look like a team that's like, I said this yesterday before the game. I felt like at times they looked like a team yesterday that already like knew they were going to lose, or like almost counted the loss like long before the game was over. It's just been, if you look in that dugout, when they pan to the dugout, the body language is horrible. And they are playing like a defeated team right now. I don't know how you could possibly lay $1.30 under those circumstances against Abbott with Horton on the mound, because I do agree with Bryan. There's probably Horton's going to be a very good pitcher. He came up with a ton of hype, and a lot of it was deservedly so. And he's actually got off to a very good start to his big league career. But I do think that there's likely some regression, especially this year, especially in his rookie season. Whereas Andrew Abbott's just been lights out. I mean, he's just been awesome start to finish this year. I have no real reason to want to bet against him. And so they're going to give you plus 120 with Abbott against a Cubs team that every time I turn on the Cubs game, literally the last 3-4 days, the body language is terrible, bad at bats, and then sort of like going back to the dugout, almost looks like reminds me of when I was coaching, 15, 16-year-old kids. They're coming back pouting. I'm like, I don't care if you struck out. Let's get in the game here. I don't need to like see you pout in the dugout. It's been terrible body language. I noticed like Kyle Tucker like looks like his girlfriend broke up with him. He's just miserable. It's just like it's just bad. It just doesn't look like a team. They need to wake up. And until that happens, I don't know how you can lay prices with them. So it'd have to be Reds or pass here for me with what's easily the better pitcher in Abbott. And they didn't even use all of their top leverage guys yesterday. So the bullpen's not a huge difference either. Reds plus money makes a lot of sense here to me. Gotta see the Cubs wake up before I can bet on them going forward. I want to bring up this comment. This is going back to the last game. But just real quick, Nance says, you said last week pitchers had to get knocked around on rehab starts coming up big when brought up. It is always a case-by-case basis. And I do think I have a little bit of an edge on the books because I'm watching a lot of these minor league games. And you have to understand that every human being is different. Every player is different. Every rehab start length is different. It's all tailored to the player. In relation to Arrighetti, I was just saying, like, when a guy gets kind of slapped around on like a full start like that at AAA, and he's only had one AAA start, they tend to give him another one. So the fact that he's coming back up tells me they might be jumping the gun a little bit. Go ahead, Bryan.
Just wanted to point out, not that people are watching this video, but right after we started talking about it, Junk has taken a lot of money across the board. So somebody out there who bets professionally likes Miami in this game.
They're watching the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame him. Like I said, the only thing that's probably I'm not even like fully off of Miami yet. It's just I really wish they like won yesterday. I don't like the fact that they've lost 2 in a row now, because we've seen it go in the other direction for them, but it definitely makes sense. I can't disagree with that. All right, G Hurt. G Hurt wants to know. That's our guy, G Hurt. He's always here. So shout out to G Hurt. He is a Tigers fan, and I think he lives in Michigan, but he's asking about a different game today, which is one of the last games on the board and a game that I wanted to talk about because I have an opinion here. He's saying, well, first of all, what a pitching matchup we have here of veteran guys that have missed some time. Anthony DeScalfini for the Diamondbacks, who missed almost a year, and I didn't think we'd ever see him back in the big leagues. And then, of course, the one G Hurt wants to know about is Nestor Cortez, who's now on his new team, one of the slew of moves that the Padres made, and he's going to get the start here today. I didn't know if he was going to be in their starting rotation, Bryan. Does this surprise you at all? And how do you get involved with Diamondbacks Padres here?
Nestor the Molester Cortez. He's going to be running for president, by the way, once he finishes his major league duties. We're looking at, that's my political rant of the day. We're looking at two veterans that have not, as you mentioned, have not played in a while. Nestor went over to Milwaukee. They let him go, and got DeStefani, who you were smart enough to recognize last week that he was a guy you wanted to fade. Both the righties, by the way. Arizona is an underdog in this game to San Diego, about a 138, 140 favorite. Nestor is against DeStefani, total of 9.5 to the under. And this is a good hitting ballpark. So if you think either one of these guys is going to struggle, that to get even money on an over 9.5 may not be a bad bet. That's the first thing I look at here. Cortez, I've liked him better than obviously Major League Baseball teams have, because he's traveled a little bit lately. But his career record, 3.88 ERA and 1.17 WHIP, that's okay. But he's not a guy who's going to blow you away. He does throw his four-seamer 42% to cutter 37, and his fastball is like 3 miles below average for a lefty. So he's not going to strike out a lot of guys. He does get you to whiff a little bit, but not the greatest strikeout pitcher out there. And when you're playing in Arizona, you really would like to have some guys that can get some strikeouts, because that's less balls in play, and this is a good hitter's ballpark. DeStefani this year in 25 innings, 4.91 ERA, 3.82 expected, 1.29 WHIP. His ERA the last 2 years, 4.88. 2 years ago, he sat out last year. And in 2022, it was 6.63, small sample size. Not one of the greatest pitchers, but it shows you what Arizona has right now, and they're desperate for it. I like the over here, and it's pretty self-explanatory. I think both offenses should have success, and I don't see either one of these pitchers going extremely long, especially DeStefani. So you may get a good first half over. Let me see what that is right now. First half over, 5 to the over 20. Yeah, I like that also. So a high-scoring game here.
Guys, like and subscribe Wager Talk's YouTube channel, because not only do we do total bases every day at the same time, but us baseball cappers put up individual game videos. Adam had one yesterday, and you'll get alerted when we put one out, so you can get the line before it moves. In baseball, these lines move very quickly. So I don't really have a read on either one of these pitchers, because they don't have enough innings logged in the last 30 days. But I do know that DeStefani has not pitched past the 4th inning the entire season, and I don't expect him to today either. And that means that this powerhouse of a lineup for San Diego will get to tag this horrible Arizona bullpen for 5 innings at least. So I go along Brian's lines there with an over. I think San Diego's team total over, or even the game over, or even San Diego on the money line might be a decent bet. I'd go any of those. I don't feel enough conviction to actually make a bet on those, but if I were to, that's the way I would go. Cortez is a veteran. Even if he has a bad game, these veterans tend to limit the damage. You rarely see guys like Cortez get lit up for like 8 runs or 7 runs. Usually they can limit damage to like 4 runs and still keep their team in a game. So for that reason, I think San Diego has an advantage here, even at starting pitcher.
Yeah, I have so many thoughts about this game, and they're like somewhat contradicting, but I want to just like lay them out there. So first of all, Nestor Cortez, like, you want to just an example of just the embarrassment of riches that is the Milwaukee Brewers right now. He was awesome for like a month. I thought that they were going to like, I don't think they could find a spot for it. Like he's been in AAA for the last month. His numbers in July, in AAA, which was mostly, in the minors, which was mostly AAA. In July, he has a 1 ERA, a 0.72 WHIP, and a 1.54 batting average against. he's looked fantastic. He's looked like nasty Nestor at AAA. And then suddenly I look up, he's not even on the team anymore. He's now in San Diego. So you got to think San Diego maybe saw that or saw something there where they were like, oh, like they're going to either have to let him go because they don't want to let other guys go. So, good for San Diego for being able to sort of grab him. Now, can he come up and is he going to do that at the big league level? I don't know, but like that's certainly encouraging that for a month he's been just dealing at AAA. Now, on the other side, DeScalfini was pitching very well out of the bullpen for the Diamondbacks. So what did they do? They made him a starter. Makes no sense. And he comes out and gets rocked where he was getting rocked as a starter in AAA. But for a month prior to that, he was very good out of the bullpen. Now, if I'm Torey Lovullo, I'm going to put an opener out there and let him come out of the bullpen, but I'm sure they won't do that. And so, they'll probably leave him out there to get rocked again. Where this one, what I'm going to be looking for today is to see what Arizona does with roster moves. I'm going to see if they move anyone up. They suddenly have a couple of good arms at AAA and arms that I would love to see get a chance. Dirk is one of them that's looked good. And they just actually called Andrew Hoffman up the other day, who was someone they acquired from the Royals. He's actually been great since getting up there. But I think he's now pitched back-to-back days, so we might not see him again here. The Padres are a team that I think I want to fade in the short term. Reason being, I don't like these teams that go out and like try to remake their team at the trade deadline. And then with a team like the Padres, it's now where they're positioned in the market. I can't tell you how many people have asked me, should I bet the Padres to win the World Series? Oh, the Padres are winning the World Series. It's like, yes, they made a bunch of moves. Maybe they improved their team, but I don't know if they're that much better at this point. So where the numbers are, like the fact that you could almost get Arizona plus 1.5 here is definitely appealing. I'm just going to be looking to see if the Padres take money throughout the day because I'm not really buying that they are so much better than they were a week ago, yet the market seems to think that that's the case. So very interesting game. But to go circle all the way back to G Hurt's original question, talking about Nestor, he looked really good for the past month, and he's going to get a shot today. It'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. Go ahead, Brian.
One quick comment. When I said Nestor to the molester, I was just talking about the cartoon that was in Hustler magazine when I was growing up. It was a gross cartoon, but nothing. I don't want Mrs. Cortez to call me up, and that was all a joke about the cartoon.
And let me make a quick point about the Padres. Don't bet them to win the World Series. Bet them to win their division because they're only 3 games out. They have a better bullpen than the Dodgers, and they're plus 500 to win that division. I think it's if rather than the World Series, take plus 500 on the division.
And that was like, just to go back to Nance's original question, like that's why it's so difficult to sort of evaluate like a rehab stint, because you're looking at a guy like Nestor Cortez, who's just been lights out at AAA. It would not surprise me in the least if he comes up and gets hit today, because it's really tough. And that's why it really is a case by case basis. But, it was, I felt like it was worth pointing out that he was fantastic for the last month, because someone else in the chat said, where's he been the last 4 months? And it's like, well, he was hurt, but for a month now, he's been pitching in the Brewers organization. So good discussion there. A very interesting game. That'll be one that'll be one that I'm very interested to watch, even if I don't have action. All right. Jay Main and like a whole bunch of people want to talk White Sox Mariners. And so Jay Main says, Tokyo Brandon, tell me something good on Cannon, please. But first, I'm going to go to Bryan Leonard and let him open this one up. We talked about White Sox yesterday maybe not being the spot to do it, and they got crushed. So is today a better spot for the White Sox, or are you going to stay out of this one again today?
We'll have to see. It's early in the morning, getting my first look at the games. I didn't see anything overnight other than the Milwaukee that I thought was a bargain. The White Sox Cannon against Kirby. Kirby's been great lately. He looks like he's fully back, but he's also about a 255 favorite in this game. Total 7.5. Cannon comes in, and one of my lesser favorite White Sox pitchers, and it's unfortunate, is that part of the rotation. He's 4-8 on the season, 4.77 ERA, 5.04 expected, 1.41 WHIP, Everything on his Baseball Savant page is all blue, which isn't good. The best thing he does is his walk rate is 7.7, which is slightly below league average, but his strikeout to walk ratio is only 10.3, or excuse me, it's not a ratio, 10 percentage, 10.3, not good. And George Kirby has been fantastic, as I mentioned lately. He's got that ERA, which was really high at one point, down to 4.13, expected 3.61, more in the area that his career has been. 1.13 whip. Very good pitcher, like everything about him. But he is getting hit a little bit. Average exit velocity, 20th percentile, hard hit rate, 28th. I think a lot of that dated back to when he was just getting back from injury. So I take that with a grain of salt. If there's ever a game in which one team looks like they're going to win, it would be Seattle. And I have done this long enough to know that anytime I have looked at a team like this, thinking there's no way they're going to lose, they lose. So that seems like a thing the Chicago White Sox have been able to do all season long. So I'm not going to lay it with Seattle, but it's very tempting. I'll pass.
Yeah, I was a little off on this one yesterday. I kind of liked. Oh no, I wasn't. I won this one yesterday. Yeah, I had the first 5 under 4.5 on this one, and I won it. Barely won it. It was 3-1 after 5 innings, but at least it's a win. Cannon, I agree with Bryan. He's not a great pitcher, and I've got him ranked 17 on a curve of 30, but he has great stats against these batters. It's only 20 at bats against, but he's held them to a 400 OPS, and I think he can do similar to what they did yesterday to Seattle. Now Seattle's lineup, since they added Suarez, is pretty scary actually. I liked Arozarena before this season, but this season, man, he just seems like he doesn't care. But they got some hitter. They got the best hitting catcher in all of MLB. He's the home run leader still. They added Suarez. Suarez and Raleigh together are probably the biggest home run duo in all of MLB as far as number of home runs. So this lineup's pretty scary, but I think Cannon can hold them at least 2 times around, which is the first 5 innings. If I were to bet this, I would take the under in the first 5, because I also think I also like Kirby's numbers against the White Sox in his career, and Kirby is ranked quite a lot higher than Cannon is. The White Sox are actually hitting better than Seattle right now, which is kind of surprising. But I think first 5 under would be the way to go in this one if I were to bet it.
Yeah, it's almost the same handicap as it was yesterday for me, where obviously I've been coming on. I've been high on the White Sox. That's been a very profitable read since we sort of like made that statement. I remember it was the 90 game mark because they were 30 and 60. And my take was that they were going to play closer to 500 ball the rest of the way. And they've basically done that. Even with last night's loss, since then, they're 12 and 11. So in every single game, they've been like a plus money, sometimes even a $2 underdog. So, that's been profitable. That being said, like, again, I go back to yesterday, everything sort of made sense except Davis Martin. That's kind of how I look at it here. Everything sort of makes sense except Jonathan Cannon. And so it'll likely be the reason that I stay off and maybe look toward tomorrow as the spot to get involved with the White Sox. The Mariners are a team that I think profile as to be a better bet on the road, not just because they hit home runs, although that is a thing, but because the books really love to inflate this team at home. So you almost get like the double. It's like the double positive when they go on the road, because the books don't give the Mariners, at least they didn't a couple months ago. Now they do a little bit. They don't give them nearly as much respect on the road, and yet they profile better on the road because they hit more home runs, and typically they're in a ballpark that suits hitting home runs. At home, they tend to be a big favorite, which I'm not quite sure is based on what they've done the last couple of years at home. I'm not sure that they should just be like this big inflated favorite at home. And then they're in a ballpark that's very tough to hit the ball out of. But again, it's Jonathan Cannon. There's a lot of blue on that StatCast page. He's not someone I really trust And could you get are the White Sox going cold a little bit? I mean, that's been a really impressive 23 game stretch where they've gone 12-11. That's my gut says maybe that, after yesterday, they didn't really play well. So that's concerning to me. So as much as I'd love to, sort of take that White Sox +1.5 as someone's in the chat, it's like, that's the trigger special. Yeah, it definitely is. I just don't know if this is the spot. And I don't know if Cannon's the guy that I want to get involved with here. So likely a pass for me. All right, Sean, Tigers.
White Sox +1.5 is synonymous with Adam Trigger.
Yeah, and usually when I give it out, it wins. I mean, you more often than not, when I've talked about it on the show, it's been the right side. That like as a play. Here, I want to make it clear. Here, I am not telling you to play that. I don't think this is the spot to do that. All right, Sean wants to talk Tigers Twins. We've got about 9 minutes left, so we're going to do we're going to do this game. We'll break down this game, then we'll each just throw out a parlay leg at the end because we really haven't talked about them yet. And that's how we'll wrap up the show. But let's give Tigers Twins the full rub first. So yesterday, the Twins finally did what I hoped they would do a week ago: call Luke Keschel up, and that's what I want to see from them. I want to see them get these exciting players in the lineup. Bryan Leonard, you back in April said Luke Keschel might be the best player in this organization right now, or one of them. And then he got called up. He was awesome. And I think he broke his arm or had like an injury that kept him out for some time. Yesterday, he's up. What do you know? First big league homer, and he's the most exciting player on the field. Does that give you any sort of, reason to want to back the Twins here or going forward?
Yeah, as a Twins fan, I'd love to see the young guys come up. This is actually Nate Bargatze special. If you follow the comedian Nate Bargatze, he always talks about his accent, and he can't say the word oil. Well, his ideal pitcher is going today for Minnesota. His name is O-H-L. Pitched in relief in the series against Cleveland, going up against Flaherty. Flaherty is about maybe a 170 favorite right now. It's bouncing all over with an 8. You can get as low as 158. And you can get as high as like a 152 on the comeback there. But Pearson Oil, 6'1", 25-year-old, pitched relief the other day. He started one game as an opener. Basically, he's only got 6 innings in total. So he's only going to go probably 3 here if he goes that long at all. Don't know that much about him. He went to Grand Canyon University. That's Marley's university. And we'll see how he does. I thought he pitched pretty well the other day against Cleveland. Jack Flaherty, 4.36 ERA, 3.93 expected, 1.25 whip. When you look at Flaherty, you got to look at his splits. Home games, 3.38 ERA, on the road, 5.69. And that comes after. He was awesome on the road the other day. So he's still got it over, about 2.5 runs higher on the road than at home. The question you have to ask here is, first of all, you probably want to fade Minnesota because of the bullpen. I talked about that yesterday. Detroit fell behind like 6-1, and then Detroit ended up outscoring them in the second half of the game, which was a good bet. But you've got a team in Minnesota who has traded all the players away. They're giving the kids a chance. I like that. I don't want a lot of veterans on this team if I'm Minnesota. I want kids that care and want to prove themselves. But you also have a Detroit team that's not playing well, haven't played well for the last month. And you're laying a pretty good number here. So do I think Detroit's going to win? Yes. Am I willing to lay this number? No. I'll pass.
So I was one of Flaherty's biggest backers when they played Philadelphia last week. He was facing Christopher Sanchez. I made the bold statement, Flaherty is going to pitch better than Sanchez. And he did, but they lost the game. I've been backing Detroit since that Philly series, and I've been making money with them. More than backing Detroit, I've been fading Minnesota since they traded 40% of their roster away at the trade deadline. However, Flaherty's road numbers really scare me here. I don't think Minnesota's going to win the game, but I do think Minnesota's going to score a lot today. So just for that reason, it kind of scares me to lay this number with Detroit. So I think Detroit's going to win, but I'm not going to bet it.
I will likely be a Twins backer going forward, and as they make these moves, I'll be using them more. Reason being, last night, St. Paul Saints, that's their AAA team, 14 hits. I mean, Peyton Els is the guy that I wish they would give a shot. The two guys that just came up from AA, Kyler Fedko, Gabriel Gonzalez, both going to be very, very good players. Just bring them up. They made the right decision to bring Keschel up. James Outman is now in the Twins organization. They got him in, and I think he was part of the Brock Stewart trade. He's having a great year at AAA. He was just chilling in the Dodgers organization because they didn't ever have room for him. And then he wasn't great at the big league level, but still, what are we doing? Let's just get these guys up and play them all. The more that they bring these guys up, the more inclined I'm going to be willing to play on the Twins, because I think the books are going to look and say, oh, it's all AAA guys, when in reality, they're better than the guys that are in the Twins lineup on a daily basis. Pearson Ole is Zebby Matthews 2.0. This is what the Twins like to do. He started the year in A-ball, but he's he's one of these 4-year mid-major college guys, as Brian Leonard said, Grand Canyon University. I think Zebby went to Western Carolina. So they're already 25 years old. So the Twins don't want to mess around. They just want to get them up, see what they can do. Ole is a guy that's kind of bounced around from bullpen to starter. I think he'll go 3 or 4 innings, but I think he's going to give you 3 or 4 good innings here. And then, the bullpen, it's irrelevant who comes in for the Twins. They're priced as a bottom bullpen right now. I saw they grabbed Thomas Hatch, who's been in the Royals organization. Maybe you see him today. Twins plus 1.5 is the way I want to go. That's going to be my parlay leg. And if I can get 10 to 15 more cents of value as the day goes on, that might actually be a client play for me. But Brian Leonard, what are we looking at for Twins? Let me
correct myself real quick. Flaherty's at home today, not on the road. My mistake. Sorry about that. So yeah. in that case, I might consider backing Detroit. Take a -1. His road stats kind of scared me, but he's at home, so
yeah, and he's been really good. Don't get me wrong, Flaherty's been very good. But he's not someone that I'm that. Unwilling to oppose if I'm getting a 1.5. So I wanted to make sure that I touched on Flaherty because he has been very solid, but I don't know that he's going to continue to pitch like this going forward. So Brian, what are we looking at for Twins plus 1.5?
Minnesota plus 1.5 is 145. And I did hear you say that, but I just TB, but I just thought it was a slip of the tongue, so I didn't say anything.
No problem. My mistake, guys. Right. Sorry about that.
All right, so that'll be my leg of the parlay. Again, I'm hoping the Tigers take money throughout the day, as I may add that to the client card, but at worst, it'll just end up being a parlay leg because I can justify putting -145 juice in the parlay. Do either of you know what parlay leg you're going to use at this point?
I do.
I have it between two. Let Brandon go first.
All right.
Is that all right? Okay. Sorry about that, Brian. Didn't mean to step on you there.
No, not at all.
I like the Angels team total under 4.5 today. And the reason I like it is because I really like how Baz has pitched against them. Their bats are cooling off a little cold. And Baz has a 125 average against and a 388 OPS against them. He's the best performing pitcher against the batters today, although the sample size is a little small. But I think 4.5 is a little bit high. I like the Rays bullpen, and I think the Angels have been in a little bit of a quagmire here. So I don't think they're going to get to 5 today. This looks like an under game to me overall. But the 4.5 really stood out. I before I open the lines up, I have in my mind what I think it's going to be, and I had 3.5 in my mind. And I was like 4.5. Wow. So that'll be my leg.
It's -145 also.
Yeah, I want it real quick. Sean says it's Woods Richardson for the Twins. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure they're going to use Pearson Ole to start. And if they don't, but the other thing is Ole will pitch today. So even if they were to change that, not a big deal because he's going to give you 3 or 4 innings regardless of where he comes into the game. So even if they decided to switch that around, I still think you see him for 3 to 4 innings today. Doesn't change my handicap.
Yeah, and it makes sense that way. The second guy in can get the victory. A lot of teams do that. Yeah, so since you both took favorites, I'll take an underdog. And I'll go with Cincinnati with Abbott here. We're going against the Cubs. Cincinnati currently plus let's anywhere from 110 to 123. So let's just go about 116, 117 on Cincinnati.
All right. And what was the juice for TB's play?
Also the 145 minus 145, same as yours.
All right. All right. So we are, let me just punch this in. And yeah, I did see, Sean, I did see Woods Richardson the other day get pushed back, but he was also sick. So like, I think it was an illness type thing. He may just be scratched altogether. I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't see him today, because I'm pretty sure when he was pushed back from Monday to Wednesday, it was illness. And they might just say, you're not feeling good, you're going to get skipped this time around. So he's either, I don't know if you're going to see him today. But I do believe it's Pearson to start, and that's been posted by a couple of different sites now. So anyway, parlay. It's going to be plus 519 on the odds. We've got Bryan Leonard, Reds plus 117. Tokyo Brandon's going Angels team total under 4.5. And I'm going to use the Twins plus 1.5 in their game against the Tigers. It's plus 519. Hopefully we can get in the win column. Need about one of these a week to stay afloat. And that's kind of what we've done so far this year, is stay afloat. Now it's time to push this back into, profit territory, though we're still up 5.4 units on these on the season. So that's our parlay for today. My leg, Twins plus 1.5. Tokyo Brandon, Angels team total under 4.5. Bryan Leonard, Reds money line for the game plus 519. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Give us the like and subscribes. Head on over to the Wager Talk YouTube channel if you want to catch the replay. It is always up. We all have stuff up at wagertalk.com, and we'll see you guys in the morning for another episode of Total Basis, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Take care.